quick movie review on something that I watched over the weekend, which is Dinner in America. Dinner in America! It is not a horror movie. That's a first for this channel. I think it seems like everything I've been watching recently has been a horror movie, but this one is not. Dinner in America is, how would I describe that? It's almost like a I want to say it's like a team drama / comedy that takes place in the 90s. It feels very Napoleon Dynamite-y meets, if you've watched The End of the Fucking World on Netflix, which is an awesome show. I highly recommend that. If you like The End of the Fucking World, you will probably like Dinner in America. Very similar in terms of like their themes and the feel and the kind of grittiness and dryness in their comedy and in the humor. But Dinner in America follows a girl named Patty. She's played by Emily Skaggs, who I don't think I've seen anything with Emily Skaggs in it before, but Patty is a 20-year-old girl who lives at home with her parents and her brother, Kevin. I think his name is Kevin. That could be wrong. And I think he's supposed to be like maybe 15-ish. But home life for Patty is very boring.
I don't like the sound of this militia music.
Rock concerts are bad news.
Her parents they're not mean, but they're very white bread. They're very old school. They're very strict and overprotective of her. They don't like her to do anything that they think she could get into trouble at or get hurt. So things like, going to a concert is like always a no, because you don't know what's going to happen at a concert. So Patty's very repressed, both socially, sexually. She has no boyfriend, and then she's like listening to music and masturbating, and then she's like taking pictures of like Polaroid pictures of herself while she's doing it. A little strange. But she's like a massive punk rock fan, so she's a super fan of this like very underground local punk band, and she'll listen to the records, and then she writes love letters to the lead singer of the band.
You want to know my secret? I write John Q love letters.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I write him one every week.
She is very, very kind of like Napoleon Dynamite-y, where she's very aloof, very quiet and reserved, especially in public. And she kind of comes off as like being kind of stupid, and that's a recurring theme through the movie is people commenting on her intelligence and saying that she's stupid. She gets picked on. She always has to ride the bus to go to work. And there's like these jock dudes who I don't know if they're supposed to be in, I guess they're supposed to be in high school, or maybe they're in college. They're always wearing matching tracksuits, and they always pick on her. So you have Patty, and then along comes Simon, who is the attractive bad boy punk rock arsonist.
I'm really glad you came to dinner.
Played by Kyle Gallner, who I recognized from the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot. So along comes Simon. He is fleeing the authorities after setting some family's house on fire. And he's trying to hide from the police, and he runs into a back alleyway, and there he meets Patty, who she plays it cool and kind of tells the police, I don't know where the guy went. I didn't see him. And thus she meets Simon, and then Simon initially uses her so that he can stay at her family's home. And he does a very good job of kind of schmoozing her super uptight family at the dinner table by lying to them and saying that his parents are missionaries and they're building churches in Tanzania or something like that. And then, as usual, I'm not going to try to spoil the film, but it's a very common story where two kind of polar opposite people end up meeting, and then they end up realizing that they kind of balance each other well. Simon is he's very angry. He's very mistrusting of people. And then you have Patty, who's kind of repressed, and she sees a lot to admire in Simon because he's so brash and outspoken. And yeah, they end up forming this pretty powerful duo.
Buckle up! I try fucking nuts!
They end up kind of falling for one another, but that's all I will say. I think that overall, I'd give the movie a thumbs up. If it's between thumbs up or thumbs down, I think I would say definitely give this a watch, especially if you... I don't know if I want to say, like, when you watch the trailer, it says, like, oh, this is like the new Napoleon Dynamite or something. It kind of is, in that it's like about an awkward person who lives in a small town, but this movie is much more... it's much more raunchy. It's much more adult in terms of like its humor when you compare it to Napoleon Dynamite.
Where's your fucking bathroom?
But it's good. There's some really, if you like dark kind of dry humor, there's some really, really funny shit with, I think Patty's parents are really funny because they're just so white bread and they're just so corny. There's some pretty good humor there. I think character-wise, I thought that Emily Skeggs did an awesome job as Patty. She felt like just a natural when it comes to that awkward, kind of twitchy, quiet girl.
You need to take it down a notch, motherfucker!
But she did a great job. And some of her there's a bunch of scenes where she's just kind of in the background making these like weird facial expressions that are really funny. And then for Simon, who's the co-lead, played by Kyle Gallner, I thought that overall he does a solid job, but there was some times where I didn't really quite buy the bad boy character that he was playing. He does this thing the whole movie where he's like trying to like sound, yeah, you gotta take it one step at a time. Like, and there's, I would say for the most part it works and it's fine, but there are some scenes where it just sounds like he's trying too hard to sound. He kind of sounds like Batman at times, like a weird Batman impression. But I thought overall the two leads were really good. I think that Patty's brother has a small bit to play in the film, and then obviously her parents are in it a decent amount of the time, and they're both pretty funny. So I thought the performances were solid. They do a nice job carrying the movie. Music wise, this is where it felt weird, because when you think about a movie that so much of this film is focused on like punk, like punk rock, punk culture. But the entire movie, I think, just has like two tracks there's like this synthy, bassy, electronic track that just repeats. Like anytime there's like music that comes on in the movie, it's like this electric track. And then towards the end, the two main characters record a punk song together, and they reuse that like a few times near the end, which is weird because I was expecting like, oh, there's going to be a bunch of like licensed punk music throughout the film, but no, there isn't. But it's fine. And then ultimately, what is the movie trying to say? What is it trying to accomplish? I think that self-expression is a big part of it. You have the character Simon, who maybe does a little bit of too much self-expression. And then you have Patty, who essentially isn't really allowed to have any. She's so quiet and she's so internal. Simon is very external. I think that, the importance of being able to be your true self.
Do you think I'm weird?
Oh, yeah, no, you're fucking weird.
Well, is weird cool?
In your case, no.
Also, like, themes of, like, identity. The one thing I do liked was they kind of juxtapose Patty, who's, like, always dressed as, like, the most just white bread Midwest, like, suburb girl, where she's wearing, like, bright striped shirts and, like, you know, pastel shorts. Even when she goes to, there's a scene later on in the film where they go to, like, this basement grunge punk concert, and they show the crowd, and it's just all, like, punk people in like, you know, ripped dark black clothing, and then she's just standing, like, right in the front with her bright ass striped shirt and her glasses and her big goofy smile. So you have her, who's like, she has all these different interests, but it's like, that doesn't really, just because she loves punk doesn't mean like, oh, I have to dress and be punk all the time. I can enjoy that, and just, these clothes are me. And then you have Simon, who is just always like, you know, he has like the shaved haircut, and he has to wear like ripped tank tops, and he kind of always has to look punk. Which I thought was interesting, where he's kind of trapped in this punk character, just being this bad boy image, which I think he kind of uses to protect himself a little bit. But that's it. Overall, I thought it was a really good movie. It was, of all the stuff I've watched recently, especially on like Apple TV or like Netflix, whatever, I think I might have enjoyed this more than all of them. It was pretty good. Maybe that's just because, like I said, all I've been watching is horror movies. So it was nice to break away and watch something that was just funny, very simple and straightforward. It's not going to knock your socks off in terms of its plot. It's pretty straightforward. It's going to remind you of a lot of other movies, but it was good. I gave it a thumbs up. I would recommend. Anyways, I will see you all later. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.